Time magazine called him the unsung hero behind the internet. CNN called him a father of the internet. President Bill Clinton called him one of the great minds of the information age. He has been voted history's greatest scientist of African descent. He is Philip Emeagwali. He's coming to Trinidad and Tobago to launch the 2008 Kwame Ture lecture series on Sunday, June 8th at the JFK Auditorium, UWI St. Augustine, 5 p.m. The Emancipation Support Committee invites you to come and hear this inspirational mind address the theme, Crossing New Frontiers to Conquer Today's Challenges. This lecture is one you cannot afford to miss. Admission is free, so be there on Sunday, June 8th, 5 p.m. at the JFK Auditorium, UWI St. Augustine.
I'm Philip Emeagwali. The grand challenge problems of supercomputing are the toughest problems arising in mathematical physics. The modern supercomputer is an instrument that must be used to solve the toughest problems, such as general circulation modeling, to foresee otherwise unforeseeable climate changes. In 1989, I was in the news headlines because I discovered how to solve grand challenge problems and how to do so by dividing each problem into 1,000,000 smaller problems and then parallel supercomputing them at lightning fast speeds and across as many processors. I was in the news headlines because I discovered how to solve once impossible problems and how to solve them across a new internet that is a new ensemble of 1,000,000 processors that represents the as many brains of a new virtual supercomputer. What sets the new supercomputer apart from the old computer are these. The new supercomputer occupies the space of a soccer field. The new supercomputer have the combined speed of 1,000,000 processors. In essence, my supercomputer is built from the same processor that your computer was built from. The crucial difference between a supercomputer and a computer is that the 1,000,000 processors inside that supercomputer are integrated to become one seamless, cohesive virtual computer that is super, beyond super. This new supercomputer technology called parallel processing made the news headlines when I discovered it on the 4th of July 1989 and discovered it across an ensemble of 64 binary thousand processors that were identical to each other, that were tightly coupled to each other, and that shared nothing between each other. A massively parallel supercomputer that must be used to solve the toughest problem costs up to $1.25 billion and occupies the space of a soccer field and must be chilled to prevent its millions of processors or brains from overheating. In the 1970s and 80s, and since February 1, 1922, parallel supercomputing was on the drawing board. I worked alone on practical parallel supercomputing, and I did so at the time the technology was mocked, ridiculed, and dismissed as a huge waste of everybody's time. For 67 years, practical parallel supercomputing was a formidable foe of mathematicians and physicists. A teacher asked her students, "What is Philip Emeagwali noted for?" My answer is this: I invented practical parallel supercomputing, the vital technology inside today's supercomputers. Until 1989, Using the parallel supercomputer to solve a grand challenge problem remained in the realm of science fiction. Consider this. At a parallel processed supercomputer speed of 1,000 million billion calculations per second, it would take a person performing one calculation per second 31.75 billion years, or nearly twice the age of the universe, to solve a grand challenge problem that would take that supercomputer only 1 second to solve. Parallel processing revolutionized the way we think about the fastest supercomputers that must solve millions of problems at once, instead of solving a grand challenge problem and solving it in the step-by-step serial processing fashion that was the prevailing paradigm since the programmable computer was invented back in 1946. The parallel supercomputer is a technological revelation that is standing the test of time. The parallel supercomputer is a critical technology that makes the impossible to compute possible to compute. For that reason, the stake on the new supercomputer was so high that the United States added a Russian supercomputer maker to its list of nuclear threats. It's a crime for a US company to sell a supercomputer to a quote-unquote unfriendly nation. In China, it's also a crime to export Chinese supercomputer technology to the United States. In Japan, it's also a crime for me, Philip Emeagwali, who is a non-Japanese, to browse through the operating instructions of supercomputers that were made in Japan, even though I invented practical parallel processing as the vital technology that underpins every supercomputer that is made in Japan. It's a crime to export US supercomputers because the parallel supercomputer is de facto a weapon of mass destruction. The fastest supercomputer provides the horsepower for secretly simulating nuclear explosions and doing so in parallel and across an ensemble of millions of commodity off-the-shelf processors that were tightly coupled to each other and that shared nothing between each other. That was the reason the United States government classified the parallel processed solution of initial boundary value problems to be grand challenge problems. After all, solving this once impossible problem transcends abstract mathematics. The solution of the grand challenge problem of mathematical physics is a positive contribution to human progress. Thank you. I'm Philip Emeagwali.
Insightful and brilliant lecture. Insightful and brilliant lecture.